Hello and welcome to episode 7's review of the Acolyte. Right, this week's episode is supposed to be the big reveal, the moment we've all been waiting for. Not many people cared, to be frank. Or Bill, if you want, you'd have to be frank. But anyway, why are the Jedi on Brendok? Well, it turns out there's life on the planet and there shouldn't be any. 100 years before, it was a barren wasteland because of a hyperspace accident. But 100 years later, and there's life on the planet. And in it, we get to see more of whiny Jedi, Padawan, fucking whatever his name is. I can't remember, I don't care now. The one who drinks the poison. I'm not surprised he drank the poison. Now this show, skipping all the way forward, gives us the best yet where it's portraying the Jedi as bad. It really is. But we'll get there, because they say one thing but show another, as often they do. So, they're on the planet to find out why life is there. Trinity says it's a virgins, and that it shouldn't have happened, so they're looking for it. They've been there for 7 weeks, and presumably all the while, whiny boys whined all the way through it, because he doesn't want to be there, he just wants to go back to Coruscant. How are you a Padawan? Hey, with fucking moaning like that. Anyway, Trinity. Right, you remember watching Bruce Lee interviews in the 80s and 70s where he gives instances and quotes, the cup fills with water, water takes whatever shape it goes in, water becomes a cup, it becomes a hole in a rock, things like that. That's what Trinity sounds like, except she doesn't believe a word of it. Where Bruce Lee's speaking from the heart, you can tell she's just plainly, speaking from a really, 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 really rubbish script. To me, that's all. She sounds like a walking fortune cookie. I know she's not had much to say because they killed her off within the first 2 minutes. But whenever she is back, it's like she's trying to impart words of wisdom, but they sound more like they're from a fortune cookie. Anyway, that's my take on her. So, they've been investigating the planet. So far, they've found nothing. And then all of a sudden, Saul goes for a bit of a walk and he sees the twins. So this episode is mixed much with episode 1 and both the Jedi's point of view and the witch's point of view. So, obviously, we saw in episode 1 where they go into make it known that they're on the planet and they didn't know anything about them. We get more arguing between the lesbian witches, and to the credit, the black lesbian witch does want Osha to join the order, but nobody else does. And other lesbian witch says that she'll fight to protect them. So I said it's different points of views, but it's not done well, because some we've seen it, and others they're showing us the point of view that the Jedi could not know at all, and vice versa. So again, Carrie-Ann Moss, Trinity is super boss bitch. She's forever putting down Squid Game, and possibly to a point. She's too, she keeps over and over saying the girls are too old to be trained. Or she's too old. The Jedi Council have shot the idea down. We shouldn't go forward. But when they're interviewing May, from a point of view that we didn't get in episode 1, she says something very strange, like, everyone has to face the fear and you have to go through sacrifice to achieve your goal or whatever. And this sets alarm bells ringing. So Jedi go back because Saul's insistent that he has a connection to Osha. even though you can't tell them apart, but he has a connection to Osha. He feels that he should be a master, that, he wants to take her as a Padawan, and Trinity's obviously always saying, don't let your heart rule your head, you're attached. He's developed an attachment to her already. Now, I thought you had to work to make attachment happen. They don't just happen right away. That happens over time. Now, that's how I've always known attachments to work. But I'm not the writers of this show. So, we get a rescue mission. Previously, Whiny Boy, we saw him in episode 1 get his mind invaded, and we found out that Black Lesbian wanted to know what he wanted in life, what's your greatest wish kind of thing, and he just kept saying, I want to go home. Presumably that's what she does when she takes over his mind. I don't know, it's not alluded to. We just know that his eyes go black like a demon in Supernatural, and she's in control of him for a few seconds. So we get the results of the midichlorian test that they did in episode 1. We get to find out the results in this. Why has it taken all these episodes? I don't know, it shouldn't have needed to. But we find out that they have the same midichlorian count regardless. No one should have that, not even twins. So Whiny Boy sees this as a reason to leave the planet and as proof, so if they go get the girls, they can leave. So that's what he does. He gets on a speeder and races to Witch Mountain. So follows in hot pursuit under the orders of stop him. He's going to cause a conflict. Trinity, meanwhile, takes the Wookiee Jedi with her, and they go to Witch Mountain in the ship. He jumps out of the ship, and as he jumps out of the ship, the witches say, you shouldn't have brought him. And Whiny Boy says, I fortified my mind. And she says, not you. And it turns out that the witches have took control. As a coven, they've all took control of the Wookiee's mind, and he starts fighting his colleagues. Now, we all know that all the witches die. How do they die in episode 1? Don't know. We find out now. Now, remember, I mentioned that they keep portraying the Jedi as bad. Right? Now, at the end of episode 1, May sets fire to the Osha's pictures of the Jedi symbol. She still does that. She sets the fire. But that's not before being, told by Space Lesbian Witch number 2 to get mad. So she's already, circling the dark side drain. Dark powers, call it what you want. Side of, the thread. So she lights the fire. So at this moment, no one can get in, no one can get out. They the Jedi end up splicing the lock to get through, but at that moment, no one can get out, no one can get in. Osha is still stuck in this room, albeit she has a hidden tunnel. So Maid still does that. Is she under the influence of Space Witch Lesbian number 2? Possibly, but she still does it. Meanwhile, the Wookiee, because he's got a feeble mind, that's what they say, I think it is, because he's got a feeble mind, he starts attacking his colleagues. And being a Wookiee, he's very strong and very aggressive. So well done there. Maybe that's why there's a reason there's not many Wookiee Jedi. Because, they're easily to control. So the Coven of Space Witches are controlling his mind as a hive mind, as a group. So Trinity comes in and exercises him. For want of a better word, she exercises him and gets them out of his head. Now, what this happens to do is cause them to all have a massive brain aneurysm and they fall down dead. But somehow that's the Jedi's fault. How? They took control of the Jedi Wookiee and used him as a weapon. But somehow it's the Jedi's fault they all die. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You know, throughout the whole of this, Squid Game is... What's the word? I want to say emotionally immature for a Jedi Knight. We see him constantly, you know, showing displays of pettiness, jealousy, not getting his way, having a bit of a tant. These aren't a Jedi Knight in control of his feelings, and I'm sure that could make for an interesting subject matter, but not with these writers. So all it's been is he's wrong. Trinity's awesome, and it ends with, you know, they're on the way back to Coruscant, and whiny Jedi Padawan says, "What are we going to tell the Council?" Squid Game says the truth, and Trinity says, "No, we've destroyed everything around her. Do you now want to destroy her dream? We'll tell the Council that May burned the village down," which is true. There's no denying it. I've watched it twice now. I sat through it a second fucking time. And it's true. The Jedi did nothing wrong. Really. No, they did nothing wrong. They went in, they introduced themselves nicely, they were faced with aggression. At every point they were faced with aggression first. Now, I think it's obvious that Smilo Ren's actual master is probably going to be Space Lesbian Witch number 2. I think. And obviously the reason he's turned bad is because Leslie Headland's wife, you know, went at him with the, what's it called? The whip with a space whip, and that's why he's got that weird scar on his back. That's what I think, anyway. But yeah, nothing. It was supposed to be a big reveal, and it wasn't, because it told us stuff, but it didn't. It still showed us what we knew. May set the face on fire. Oh, and the witches killed themselves because they took over the mind of a Wookiee and turned him into a weapon. Who's writing this? Who's writing this? Come on. Give us something a bit more. Anyway, that's it for me. Go watch Hot D. It's much better. Much better. You get more acting in a look than you do in an entire fucking half an hour episode here. Go watch it. It's far better, and it's a perfect antidote to this. Bye for now.